The sea is quiet tonight, but not empty. Beneath the rolling waves lies a world untouched by time, where forgotten ships rest, their masts tangled in silence, their decks cloaked in memories. They once carried life, sailors, dreams, and promises, but now only whispers remain. The ocean keeps their stories murmuring softly through the tides, telling of love, loss, and eternity. Close your eyes and listen. The water hums like an ancient lullaby, carrying echoes of voices long gone. Every creak, every ripple, every distant sound is a story, waiting to be heard. Let the sea pull you deeper into its calm. Let the ghosts of the ocean guide you through their resting place. For tonight you are not alone. You are adrift in the haunting beauty of the deep. The sea is a soft mirror tonight, a liquid field of silver reflecting the pale moonlight. The air carries a cool weight, a salt-tinged stillness that hushes the world. The fog moves like breath, slow and patient, curling around the horizon, veiling what lies beyond. You drift within it, feeling the ocean rock beneath you, feeling time itself loosen its hold. Somewhere far ahead, a faint creak echoes through the mist, a wooden groan that does not belong to the waves. The sound comes again, low and ghostly, like the sigh of a ship remembering how to move. The fog parts just enough for you to see her. The silhouette rises slowly out of the gray, the Mary Celeste. Her masts lean like weary guardians, sails tattered yet somehow glimmering faintly in the moonlight. She glides without purpose, caught between currents that do not touch her, moved by winds that do not exist. No lanterns burn along her railings, no voices echo across her deck. Only the whisper of the wind answers her emptiness. You watch in silence as the ghostly ship passes, her hull cutting through the mist without a ripple. There is no splash, no sound of water against wood. It is as if she does not truly touch the sea, as if she hovers just above it, a shadow in motion, a dream adrift. The name carved on her stern, weathered yet visible, confirms what the sea already knows. Mary Celeste. A name whispered in countless ports, a riddle spoken in every sailor's prayer, a vessel that vanished into legend. The story comes to you slowly, carried on the rhythm of the waves. Once she was full of life. A merchant brigantine bound for Genoa, her holds filled with cargo, her decks echoing with footsteps and laughter. A crew of hopeful sailors, a captain with dreams of safe return. They left harbor under a bright December sky, trusting the wind, trusting the stars, trusting the sea. But something changed. Weeks later she was found drifting, untouched, unbroken, her sails still catching the wind, yet not a soul remained aboard. The food untouched, the cargo secure, the captain's log stopped mid-sentence. The sea had taken her people but left their vessel behind, a hollow body with no heart. And now, as you watch her glide through the fog, you feel the echo of that mystery in your bones. The air grows cooler, the moonlight dimmer. The Mary Celeste seems to draw the night around her, swallowing sound and light alike. You step closer in your mind, your breath sinking with the ocean's pulse. The planks beneath your imagination creak softly as though welcoming your presence. You find yourself standing upon her deck. The wood is damp, glistening faintly but solid beneath your feet. The ropes sway gently though there is no wind. The wheel turns slightly on its own as if guided by invisible hands. Every few moments the hull sighs, the kind of sound an old house makes when it remembers its history. The smell of salt and old oak fills the air. You look toward the horizon but see nothing beyond fog, only the ghostly shimmer of the moon through drifting vapor. A faint sound hums in the distance, not quite a voice, not quite the sea. It is a tone that feels familiar, like a song hummed long ago. You follow it toward the bow. Each step is soft, echoing gently as though the ship itself were listening. You reach the front rail and peer down into the dark water. The reflection stares back, the ship, the moon, the endless gray. But beneath the surface, something moves. For a heartbeat, you think you see shapes, faint outlines of faces, eyes that open, then vanish. The water ripples, erasing them before certainty can form. The hum grows clearer, turning into a whisper. It does not frighten you. Instead, it soothes, like the voice of someone you once knew speaking from a distant room. The words are indecipherable, but their tone is tender, almost pleading. You close your eyes and listen. The whisper becomes the wind. The wind becomes a memory. And suddenly the deck feels different beneath you, meow, warmer, brighter. The fog thins and time folds back. The Mary Celeste is alive again. Sails full, crew bustling, laughter carried across the sea. The smell of coffee and tar mingles in the air. The captain stands at the helm, his eyes steady, his voice commanding yet calm. You feel the sunlight on your skin, hear gulls crying overhead. It's a perfect day, the kind sailors dream of. But then subtle things begin to change. A cloud drifts over the sun, casting a long shadow. The wind falters, the sails slacken. The laughter fades, replaced by a hush that spreads like a chill. The horizon darkens, though no storm appears. The captain lowers his telescope, eyes narrowing. Something unseen touches the ship, not with force but with presence. Every man feels it. A tremor of unease ripples through the deck. They whisper of strange lights on the water at night, of voices calling their names when the moon is high. One by one, fear begins to take hold. You stand among them, invisible yet part of their fear. The air feels heavier, the silence thicker. A sailor drops his rope and looks to the sea, swearing he saw a figure beneath the surface. A pale face just below the waves. Another claims to hear footsteps on the deck long after everyone has gone to sleep. The captain writes in his log. Wind steady, course unchanged, yet the men feel watched. Night falls again. The fog returns, dense and suffocating. The compass spins without reason. The lanterns flicker, though no breeze touches them. Somewhere in the hold, a single knock echoes, rhythmic, steady, like a heartbeat. The crew gathers, searching, finding nothing. Fear becomes a storm more powerful than any the sea can summon. They pray, whispering names of loved ones into the mist. The captain keeps his post, jaw clenched, eyes hollow. Then, as dawn breaks, something happens. A silence so complete it feels unnatural. The sea turns to glass, the wind dies entirely. The world holds its breath. One sailor leans over the rail, staring into the motionless deep. His reflection stares back with unfamiliar eyes. He gasps, steps back, and the deck creaks in reply. And then, nothing. One by one the men vanish. No splash, no cry, no struggle, just absence. When you open your eyes, the ship is empty again. You are back in the ghostly present, standing alone under the cold moon. The air tastes of memory. You feel sorrow but not fear. The Mary Celeste continues her voyage, caught between life and legend, her empty decks echoing with what once was. Perhaps she is not cursed, you think. Perhaps she is simply searching and for her missing hearts, for her purpose, for home. You walk the deck once more, tracing the outlines of ropes and barrels, touching the ship's railing like one might comfort a grieving friend. Beneath your palm the wood seems to pulse faintly, alive in its own way. You whisper softly, words of calm, of gratitude, of peace. The wind stirs slightly, brushing your face like a sigh of relief. A faint glow begins to rise from the lower deck. Not fire, not lantern light, but something gentler, like the shimmer of dawn beneath the sea. You follow it down the steps. The glow comes from the captain's cabin. Inside, the logbook lies open on the desk, pages fluttering as though moved by unseen fingers. The final line glows faintly. All is well. You smile, feeling a strange warmth spread through the stillness. Perhaps this is her truth. Not terror, not tragedy, but the persistence of memory. The ship drifts endlessly so that her story will not fade. so that the names once spoken aboard her will continue to echo through the ocean's vast heart. You sit in the quiet cabin, listening. The sea hums outside, the same soft lullaby that has sung to sailors since the beginning of time. The creaking of wood becomes a rhythm, gentle and hypnotic. You close your eyes and for a moment you hear faint laughter again. Distant, light, content. The crew perhaps at peace in another world. Time dissolves. The fog outside thins. The Mary Celeste seems to glow brighter now, no longer lonely but luminous, wrapped in serenity. The water around her shimmers as though the stars themselves have descended to rest upon her hull. She moves forward slowly, steadily, following a current invisible to mortal eyes. The sea opens before her, vast and silver, calm as sleep itself. You feel your breath match her rhythm, in and out, rise and fall, until your heartbeat slows to the pace of waves against the hull. The whispers fade, becoming one soft voice that tells you, "Rest now, traveler, rest." You lie down upon the deck, feeling the steady rhythm beneath you. The wood is warm, humming softly with life renewed. The sound of the waves becomes your heartbeat. The sunlight grows softer, wrapping around you like a blanket. You close your eyes, breathing in the scent of salt and serenity. The sea whispers once more, not in anger but in forgiveness. "Rest," it says. "Rest now." The storm has passed. The Queen Anne's Revenge drifts onward, her sails full of gentle wind. Somewhere deep below, treasure lies untouched, forgotten, meaningless. Above, gulls cry softly, their calls carried across the calm morning air. The ship's shadow glides over the waves like a passing dream. You feel yourself growing lighter, weightless, drifting with her. The sound of the world fades until there is only the sea, the eternal patient sea. Its rhythm lulls you deeper, slower, quieter. Each breath becomes longer, smoother, like the rise and fall of the tide. The water's voice murmurs through your mind, soft as sleep itself. In the distance, thunder rolls one last time, not in anger but remembrance, a promise that even the fiercest hearts can find peace. The sound fades into silence. The horizon gleams with gold. The Queen Anne's Revenge sails into that light, leaving no wake, no trace, only the faint shimmer of calm water. You drift with her until the world itself becomes a dream. And just before sleep claims you completely, you hear his voice again, gentle now, free of rage. "Set her right." The sea answers with a sigh, and the whisper fades into the rhythm of waves against the hull. Steady, eternal, peaceful. The storm is gone. The curse is broken, and all is well. The world begins in silence. A silence so deep it feels like breath held by the earth itself. The air is white, endless, unmoving. The horizon is a blur of snow and sky, indistinguishable, eternal. And in the middle of that frozen infinity lies a ship. Its black hull trapped in ice that gleams like glass beneath the pale light of a sun that never truly rises. The HMS Erebus. The wind curls over her broken masts, singing softly through torn ropes and shattered spars. Every sound is magnified in the stillness. The creak of frozen wood, the faint whisper of snow settling against her sides, the slow drip of melting frost. Time has forgotten her here. She has become part of the landscape, half buried in white, half remembered by the sea. You stand at the edge of that ice, the cold seeping into your bones, and you feel the weight of her story pressing gently against the silence. She once cut through water as dark as ink, her sails full, her decks alive with the laughter of sailors and the certainty of discovery. She was built to explore, to claim, to conquer the unknown. But now only the unknown remains. A gust of wind moves across the plain, and the ship answers with a low groan, a sound that seems less mechanical than human, as though the wood itself remembers suffering. The snow swirls around her bow, forming shapes that almost resemble faces, eyes hollow, mouths open in perpetual whisper. The air feels thick, electric, alive with memory. You take a step closer. The ice beneath your feet cracks softly but holds. Each sound you make vanishes instantly into the white distance, swallowed by the vastness. The ship's shadow stretches toward you, long and trembling as if reaching for warmth. You climb the incline of frozen snow and touch the hull. It is smooth and impossibly cold, a surface that feels like time itself. Beneath your palm you sense vibration, not movement but presence. A heartbeat buried under centuries of frost. You climb aboard. The deck lies beneath a thin layer of ice, the rails crusted with rime, the ropes stiff as iron. The sails hang torn and translucent, shimmering faintly in the dim light. Everything glows faintly blue, as if the world has been caught between night and dawn forever. Then, faintly you hear it, the sound of footsteps below. Not the sharp, hurried tread of the living, but the slow rhythm of those who have walked the same corridor for centuries, never reaching their destination. You follow the sound of the companionway. The door resists for a moment, then yields with a sigh. Inside, the air feels heavier, thicker, almost liquid with cold. Frost blooms along the walls like delicate lace. Every breath you take leaves a cloud that hangs motionless in the air before fading. You descend into the lower deck. Lanterns long dead hang from their hooks. Crates are stacked neatly along the walls, each marked in black letters. Provisions 1845. A table stands in the center, a few metal cups frozen to its surface. The remains of a meal lie untouched, preserved perfectly by the cold. Bread turned to stone, a spoon still resting in a tin bowl. It is as if the men simply stepped away for a moment and never returned. A whisper moves through the air. It sounds like a sigh at first, but then words begin to form. Soft, indistinct, carried by the creak of the hull. They speak not to you but to each other. Fragments of prayer, fragments of hope, a plea for light in endless dark. You walk slowly through the corridor. The walls narrow, the air thickens. Behind each door lies another frozen moment. A bunk where a coat still hangs. A desk where a journal lies open, ink frozen mid-stroke. A map pinned to the wall. Edges curled, dotted with roots that lead nowhere. The handwriting is faded but legible, lines of hope and calculation, plans for survival that never came to pass. You trace a gloved finger over the final words on the page. We go south in search of rescue. God help us. The ink ends abruptly there, as if the hand that wrote it was stopped mid-prayer. A faint light flickers down the corridor. Blue, cold, steady. You follow it until it leads to the captain's cabin. The door's ajar, frost sealing its edges. You push it open gently. Inside, the cabin is almost beautiful. The glass of the windows has turned to sheets of ice, refracting the faint light into shifting patterns across the floor. A single chair lies overturned beside a table covered in papers. A sextant, a compass, a locket containing a face blurred by time. On the wall, a portrait, frozen, cracked but intact, shows a man with calm eyes and a steady gaze. The captain, no doubt. The light seems to come from the locket. You pick it up carefully. The metal burns your skin with cold, but you hold it anyway. Inside the glass, the blurred face becomes clearer, shifting in the frost. The eyes blink once, slowly. A voice, faint as breath, murmurs from nowhere and everywhere. We thought we would see the Pacific by summer. The air tightens. The deck beneath you creaks again, not from the wind this time, but from movement. The shadows along the walls stir. One by one, faint shapes appear. Men in heavy coats, faces pale and hollow, eyes rimmed with frost. They move slowly, gathering around the table, speaking in whispers that blend with the groan of the timbers. Their words are half prayer, half memory. Too cold. No sun for weeks. The compass spins. Tell my wife. Tell her. Keep the fire burning. Their hands pass through objects like mist. One man sits at the table and reaches for the journal. Another stares out the frozen window as though expecting dawn. They are not frightening, only weary. You realize they are not reliving their deaths, they are reliving their hope. The moments before despair fully claimed them. You close your eyes and listen. The wind outside rises again, rattling the hull like a drumbeat. The whispers grow louder, overlapping, becoming a chant that fills the entire ship. For a moment it sounds like music, solemn, haunting, beautiful. The hymn of lost sailors carried across eternity. You step back into the corridor. The air vibrates with memory. Every plank beneath your feet seems to hum with the echo of footsteps that never stopped. As you walk toward the deck, you see faint flickers of light in the distance through cracks in the wood. Lanterns, torches, signals that once called to rescue that never came. The wind howls, shaking the ship. The temperature drops further until even your breath feels heavy, crystallizing in the air. Snow begins to fall through cracks in the deck above, swirling like dust in a forgotten cathedral. You climb the ladder and emerge once more into the open Arctic night. The sky glows faintly green now, the northern lights unfurling like silk curtains above the world. Their shimmer dances across the ice, illuminating the ship in hues of emerald and gold. The beauty is unreal, divine, almost painful. The air vibrates with the hum of the aurora, a sound like distant voices singing. For a moment it feels as though heaven itself has opened, reaching down to touch the ship caught forever between life and death. You walk to the bow. The world stretches before you in endless white, but beneath the ice far below you sense movement. The sea has not forgotten. The current still flows deep and slow, carrying whispers from the past. You kneel and touch the ice. It hums softly beneath your hand as if acknowledging your presence. For a fleeting instant you hear them again. The sailor's final words carried upward through layers of frost and silence. The Mary Celeste sails on, her mystery now a lullaby for those who listen closely to the night. And somewhere beyond fog and time her lost sailors smile, finally home within the sea's eternal embrace. The water folds around her, gentle, endless, patient. The wind carries only peace. The moonlight softens. You drift deeper and deeper into stillness, the ship becoming a silhouette once more, then a shadow, then nothing at all. Only the quiet breathing of the ocean remains. Sleep finds you there, weightless, floating beside her memory. The waves cradle you. The world fades into silver calm, and as the last trace of fog dissolves into dawn, the whispers beneath the waves continue their song. Not of sorrow, but of rest, of return, of home. The ocean hums quietly, its vast surface trembling beneath the moon. Somewhere beyond the mist, the Mary Celeste still drifts, her sails breathing, her hull whispering to the deep. You remain there in spirit, weightless, listening as the night folds in upon itself. The waves are slow, tender, like the heartbeat of something eternal. For a long while there is only stillness, a soft, rhythmic peace that feels older than time. But as you drift within it, a gentle sound emerges. It's faint at first. A tap, a knock, the echo of something wooden brushing against the ship's side. It repeats, not hurried, not alarming, and simply steady, like fingers against a table, like a signal. You follow the sound through the silver mist. The deck beneath your feet seems alive, expanding and contracting with the tide. Every board, every rope, every nail seems to breathe in unison. The sound grows nearer, drawing you toward the stern where the fog thickens again. There, half hidden by the haze, is a lifeboat still hanging from its ropes. But the ropes sway gently, though no wind moves them. The boat creaks softly as if something within it shifts ever so slightly. You stand beside it, quiet, calm, unafraid. The air is cold but comforting, carrying the faintest scent of salt and rain. You reach out to touch the edge of the lifeboat. The wood feels warm beneath your hand. A memory flickers through your mind. The image of sailors lowering this very boat into rough seas. their faces pale in the dim light of a storm that never truly arrived. Perhaps they sought escape. Perhaps they sought answers. But perhaps they never left. The air thickens, and once again the line between dream and memory dissolves. You are no longer standing alone. Shapes begin to emerge beside you. Faint silhouettes of men moving slowly, methodically, adjusting ropes, murmuring to one another. Their voices are muted, almost indistinguishable from the sea breeze. One turns, passing so close you could almost touch him. His features are soft, transparent, his expression neither fearful nor sad, just patient. He looks toward the open horizon, or where it should be, and nods once as though answering a call that only he can hear. Then he fades, his outline merging with the mist. You watch as others follow, each moving with purpose but without sound. The last man, the captain himself, pauses at the rail. He sets his logbook upon the deck, rests his hand upon it for a moment, then looks up at the stars. His lips move in silent prayer. Then he too steps into the fog, vanishing into the space where sea and sky become one. You look down at the logbook still resting there. It lies open to the same glowing line you saw before. All is well. The words pulse faintly as though alive. You touch the page and warmth spreads through your fingertips. The ink ripples and suddenly you are pulled deeper, not by fear, but by serenity. You find yourself beneath the surface now, yet breathing easily, surrounded by light that moves like water and water that moves like music. The ship floats above you, ghostly but peaceful, suspended in time. All around her drift fragments of memory. A compass, a lantern, a sailor's hat, a bottle half buried in sand, each glowing softly like stars scattered beneath the waves. You reach for one, a small, brass compass turning endlessly, though no magnetic force remains. When you touch it, a vision unfolds. The ship at dawn, before the silence came, the crew laughing as they prepare for another day's journey. The sea sparkles, the wind hums, the horizon is clear. It's a moment of pure life, preserved, eternal, undisturbed. The vision fades, but peace lingers. The sea around you hums like a lullaby, layered and deep, carrying the memory of every ship that ever sailed, every sailor who ever dreamed. You realize that the Mary Celeste is not alone. Far below, shadowy outlines of other vessels shimmer faintly. A vast fleet of forgotten ships resting in calm silence, their sails unfurled in eternal stillness. You drift among them, gliding effortlessly. The ocean here is clear as glass, filled with soft beams of moonlight that stretch endlessly into the blue. Each ship hums its own note, a chord of remembrance that blends into a vast harmony of peace. You feel yourself becoming part of it, a whisper among whispers, a wave among waves. Every breath you take is slower now, every heartbeat softer. The ocean no longer feels cold. It feels like home. The Mary Celeste hovers above, her figurehead gleaming faintly. The fog around her begins to glow with soft gold, as though dawn is finally breaking after centuries of night. The light rises slowly, curling through the masts, reflecting on the water. The air shimmers with warmth, and the ocean's song deepens, wrapping around you like a soft blanket. You can still hear the whispers, but now they sound different. No longer lonely or lost, they are calm, content. The voices of the crew perhaps no longer searching, no longer afraid. They hum together, a single tone that vibrates gently through the sea. Rest, it seems to say. Rest now. All is well. The phrase repeats softly again and again, fading with each breath until it becomes part of the tide itself. You close your eyes. You feel the water carry you upward, back toward the surface, slow and effortless, as though lifted by invisible hands. When you open your eyes again, the sea has changed. The fog has lifted entirely. The stars burn bright above, countless and clear. The Mary Celeste drifts peacefully on the still water, her sails clean, her masts strong once more. She glows faintly beneath the starlight, no longer haunted, no longer burdened. For the first time she looks free, a vessel reborn, a spirit released. You watch her move, slow and deliberate, toward the horizon where night meets morning. The ocean is perfectly calm, and the sound of her passage is softer than breath. Her wake glitters with silver light, fading gradually into the vast expanse of blue. And as she sails on, you realize that she will never truly vanish. She will remain not as a ghost, but as a guardian of the deep, guiding those who are lost, carrying the memories of all who seek peace upon the sea. Her story will continue, whispered through the waves to those who still listen closely in the quiet of night. You feel yourself lying once more upon calm water, the stars above reflecting in your half-closed eyes. Your breathing slows. The ocean cradles you like a gentle hand. The faint rhythm of the waves becomes your heartbeat, steady and sure. The night deepens, the world softens, and all that remains is peace. Somewhere in the distance, a bell tolls once, low and resonant. It echoes across the sea, a final signal, a promise kept. The sound fades slowly, melting into the hush of the tide. You exhale, long and easy. The sea breathes with you. The stars shimmer and the horizon begins to blush with the first trace of dawn. The light moves gently across the water, touching the remnants of fog that drift like silver curtains. The Mary Celeste is nearly invisible now, a faint gleam far away, sailing toward the edge of forever. You let your eyes close again. The darkness that meets you is not empty but full of calm, of quiet, of the deep rhythmic song of the ocean that never ends. The whispers beneath the waves continue, faint but kind, wrapping around your mind like silk. They speak not of fear or mystery now, but of rest, of journeys completed, of stories remembered. The ghosts of the sea do not haunt, they hum you to sleep. You surrender fully to the stillness. Your thoughts slow, your breath deepens. The sound of the water, the creak of invisible timbers, the sigh of the tide, all of it melts into one continuous lullaby. The stars blur into soft light. The world becomes a single heartbeat, a single wave, a single breath, and somewhere, in that endless calm, the Mary Celeste continues her eternal voyage. No longer lost, no longer searching, but forever adrift in peace. She sails beneath the silver sky, her sails full of wind that never dies, her path lit by stars that never fade. Her story drifts onward, whispering through the currents, soothing those who listen, guiding them toward rest. The last thing you hear before sleep takes you completely is the ocean's voice, gentle, ancient, endless, whispering the same words the captain once wrote in his final log: all is well. Hold fast. Tell them we sailed with hope. Remember us. Then the wind rises, scattering the voices into the night. The aurora intensifies, bathing the ship in light so pure it erases shadow. The timbers begin to glow, not with heat but with memory. The crew, still faintly visible below deck, lifts their eyes toward the heavens. Their forms shimmer, dissolving into motes of light that drift upward, merging with the glow in the sky. You watch as one by one they ascend, until only the captain remains at the wheel. His coat flutters in the wind, his eyes fixed on the horizon that no longer exists. He does not look at you, but you sense his acknowledgement, a silent farewell. Then he too fades, leaving only the ship, empty, quiet, still. The light from the aurora softens. The world begins to dim again. The storm passes. The silence returns, but it is no longer the heavy, suffocating silence of death. It is gentle now, forgiving. The ship rests easily within the ice, no longer struggling, no longer haunted. You lie down upon the frozen deck, feeling the hum of the earth beneath you. The cold no longer bites. It soothes. The sky above drifts with slow waves of color, green, blue, violet, moving like breath. The sea below sighs softly. The air feels lighter. Your eyelids grow heavy. The rhythm of the world slows. You imagine the Erebus not as a tomb, but as a cradle, carrying the memory of courage, of exploration, of men who dared to chase the horizon and became one with it. The ice keeps them not in punishment, but in preservation, eternal guardians of the north. The wind brushes across your face, whispering the last remnants of their song. It is quiet, tender, filled with gratitude. The words are simple, carried through the cold with infinite care. Sleep now. The voyage is over. You exhale slowly, matching the rhythm of the wind. The sound of the ice shifting beneath the hull becomes a lullaby, deep and steady. The stars blur overhead. The aurora fades to silver. The ship, the sea, the sky, all merge into one endless, peaceful white. And somewhere beneath that quiet expanse, the voices rest at last, no longer trapped, no longer pleading. Their prayers have reached the sun after all, carried on the breath of eternity. The cold wraps around you like a blanket. The horizon disappears. The only sound that remains is the faint murmur of the ocean beneath the ice, repeating a single phrase over and over in a language older than words. All is well. The river is wide tonight, smooth as black glass. Mist drifts low across its surface, curling like breath from the mouth of something ancient. The trees along the banks lean inward, their bare branches tangled against the sky. Somewhere far away, a whippoorwill calls once and then falls silent. The air is still, heavy with the scent of rain that never comes. And then, faintly, impossibly, a glow appears on the horizon. It flickers at first, small and uncertain like the last ember of a dying fire. But as the fog parts, the light grows stronger, red and gold pulsing in the darkness. It moves with the slow rhythm of the river's current. The air warms slightly. A murmur rises, a sound halfway between wind and whisper. You walk closer to the shore, the reeds brushing your boots. The glow sharpens. There, drifting against the current, is a ship. Her outline wavers in the mist, flames licking silently along her sides. The water beneath her glows orange, reflecting her burning form like a mirror. Yet there is no smoke, no sound of crackling wood, only the shimmer of fire that doesn't consume. The Eliza battle. Once proud, once real, once alive with music and laughter as she carried her passengers down the Tombigbee River. And now, an echo. A ghost born of tragedy, still moving through the night as though searching for a rescue that never came. You stand still, heart steady, breath soft. The ship slides closer, her reflection bending with the current. The heat you expect never touches you. The air remains cool. The flames shimmer like memories, not fire. From the deck, faint shapes move. A man at the wheel, a woman clutching a parasol, a child's face pressed to the rail. Each figure glows dimly, transparent, their movements graceful and slow, as if time itself has been stretched thin around them. You can hear music now, a banjo, faint and sweet, strumming somewhere below deck. The notes float through the mist, each one fading before it truly begins. Then comes laughter, bright and warm from another world. For a moment, the ghost ship seems alive again. The river remembers everything. You close your eyes, and the past unfolds. It is March 1st, 1858. The night is cool, the air filled with the scent of pine and river mud. The Eliza battle drifts south from Columbus toward Mobile, her decks crowded with passengers dressed for spring travel. Oil lamps glow along her rails, reflecting on the calm water. Inside, the cabin hums with conversation, the shuffle of cards, the laughter of strangers becoming friends. The captain stands at the wheel, confident and proud. He has made this journey many times. The river is low but familiar, winding through dark forests and quiet towns. The crew moves efficiently, checking the boilers, trimming the lamps, stoking the fire that drives the great paddle wheel. But outside, the wind shifts. Clouds roll in from the north, heavy and gray. The temperature drops suddenly, sharply. Somewhere behind them, lightning flashes, a single bolt tearing through the sky. The passengers pause. A woman asks, "Was that thunder?" But the music continues. No one is truly afraid. Not yet. An hour passes. The river narrows, its banks pressing closer. The fog thickens, hiding the stars. The captain leans forward, trying to read the water by instinct alone. Then from below deck a shout, "Fire!" The word cuts through the laughter like a blade. The music stops. Another shout, then the sharp crack of splitting wood. The boilers hiss. Sparks burst upward through the grates. Within seconds, orange light floods the deck. The flames race along the dry timbers, leaping from beam to beam faster than anyone can react. Panic spreads like the fire itself. The passengers rush to the rail, shouting for help, searching for the shore they can no longer see. Some throw furniture into the river, desperate for something that floats. Others kneel and pray. The wind catches the flames, feeding them, turning the entire ship into a single blazing torch on the water. The captain's voice rises above the chaos. "Stay together. Into the water if you must." But the heat is unbearable. The air turns to smoke. The river glows red beneath them. One by one, people leap into the darkness. The current is swift and freezing. Some make it to the bank, pulling themselves through reeds and mud, coughing, weeping. Others vanish beneath the surface, carried away by the same current that once carried their laughter. By dawn, the Eliza battle is gone. Her charred frame sinks beneath the black water, her smoke blending with the mist. The survivors huddle on shore, wrapped in ash and silence, watching as the river swallows what remains. Days later, locals find fragments along the banks, bits of timber, a scorched lantern, a woman's locket still warm to the touch. They bury what they can, whisper prayers over the ashes, and move on. But the river does not. The river remembers. And on nights like this, when the fog drapes the trees and the air holds its breath, the Eliza battle rises again. The flames shimmer along her hull, painting the night gold. The ghostly passengers walk her deck, calm now, their fear burned away by time. The woman with the parasol leans over the rail, gazing into the water as though searching for her reflection. The captain stands at the wheel, eyes fixed on a horizon that no longer exists. His hands are steady, his expression peaceful. You take a step closer to the water. The reflection of the burning ship ripples outward, and for an instant you see your own face among them, softly illuminated by ghostly fire. The air hums around you, vibrating with energy older than memory. A voice drifts from the ship, clear and kind. "Are we near the landing?" it asks. It is a woman's voice, melodic, unafraid. You try to answer, but the words freeze on your tongue. The sound of the river drowns everything. The flames grow brighter. The mist curls inward, wrapping around the hull like smoke. One by one, the ghostly figures begin to fade, dissolving into light. Only the captain remains, his eyes still on the horizon. For a moment his gaze shifts toward you. He nods once, a gesture of gratitude or maybe farewell. Then he too fades. The flames wink out. The river turns black again. The reflection gone. Only mist remains, swirling slowly where the ship had been. The silence that follows is profound. Even the night creatures have stopped their songs. You breathe in the damp air, tasting the faint trace of smoke that isn't there. The water laps gently against the bank, whispering secrets in a language you cannot understand. Somewhere in that rhythm you hear them, the voices of those who never left, soft, distant content. The night opens with thunder, not the sudden crack of a storm newly born, but the deep, rolling growl of something that has existed forever. The sea below heaves and glistens, a black mirror torn by white scars of foam. Lightning flickers across the horizon. illuminating the vast emptiness between water and sky. And somewhere within that flicker, for the briefest heartbeat, you see her tall, proud, and terrible. The Queen Anne's Revenge. She appears not with sound but with presence. Her hull, scorched and weather-beaten, rises from the waves like a memory too stubborn to die. The torn sails snap in a wind that you cannot feel. The flag, dark, faded, bearing the skull and hourglass, flutters as though it still commands fear. When the lightning fades, she remains, drifting against the wind, her timbers creaking with the rhythm of old bones. You float nearer through the mist, your breath sinking with the pulse of the sea. The ship looms above, impossibly large yet weightless in the storm's grip. A single lantern burns at her stern, swinging in the air though no hand holds it. The light is pale and cold, a ghost's imitation of fire. Beneath it, the name carved into the wood glimmers faintly. Queen Anne's Revenge. For a long moment, nothing moves. Then from deep within the ship comes the sound of chains, slow, metallic, heavy, dragging across the deck. It is followed by footsteps, uneven and hollow. You watch as figures emerge from the shadows. Silhouettes of men, their outlines blurred, their forms shifting with every flash of lightning. They move with purpose but without life, faces hidden beneath the hoods of tattered coats. Some carry ropes, others barrels. Others simply walk in circles, repeating labors long since finished. They do not speak. They do not see. They only work. The thunder cracks again, brighter this time, and in that flash you see him, the captain. Tall, broad, eyes burning faintly beneath a shadowed brow. His beard, thick and dark, twists in the phantom wind streaked with ash and memory. Around his waist hangs a belt of pistols, useless now yet still worn with pride. His coat billows like smoke. His boots leave no print, and the blade at his side gleams with a light that is not of this world. Edward Teach, Blackbeard. The terror of the Caribbean. The man who laughed at death until death decided to laugh back. He stands at the helm, hands gripping the wheel though the ship no longer obeys the sea. His gaze is fixed on the horizon, where the storm thickens like a curtain of ink. Every so often he whispers, words lost in the roar of the wind. Orders, perhaps, apologies, or maybe curses that echo through eternity. You climb aboard in silence, drawn not by fear but by curiosity. The deck is slick, glistening with seawater and ghostlight. Each step sends ripples through the planks, as though the wood itself remembers pain. The air smells of salt, gunpowder, and something ancient. Burnt rope, old blood, the scent of regret. The crew does not notice you. They move past, eyes hollow, mouth shut. One bends to coil a rope that unravels as soon as he finishes. Another hoists a sail that tears itself apart before reaching the mast. The same tasks over and over, endless as the tide. You hear a whisper beside you, a voice like the rustle of canvas. He won't let us stop. You turn, but no one is there. Only the faint outline of a man fading into mist. The whisper continues, echoing now from everywhere at once. He keeps the ship sailing. He can't rest. We can't rest. The treasure. The curse. The sea won't forget. Lightning flashes again and the memory unfolds before your eyes. The storm fades, replaced by sunlight and heat. The Queen Anne's Revenge is alive once more. Bright sails, polished deck, laughter and shouting all around. Cannons line her sides, black mouths grinning toward the horizon. Blackbeard stands at the center, alive, commanding, his voice booming over the roar of the surf. The crew cheers, drunk with gold and victory. They have taken another prize, a merchant ship heavy with rum and jewels. The deck gleams with stolen treasure, chests cracked open, coins spilling like sunlight. The men dance, sing, raise their mugs in triumph. But beneath the joy lies something else, a restlessness, a greed that burns too hot. Blackbeard's eyes gleam not with satisfaction but hunger. He looks at the gold and sees not enough. He stares at the horizon and sees not peace but more conquest. The sea, he believes, is his kingdom, and even death itself must bow. Night falls and the revelry fades. The captain stands alone at the bow, staring into the dark water. His reflection ripples, distorted as though the sea mocks him. He mutters to himself, fingers brushing the hilt of his sword. Somewhere deep below something stirs, a shimmer, faint and unnatural, like light trapped beneath the waves. It calls to him. He hears it not with ears but with soul. The promise of more, of immortality, of power that no man should hold. Days pass. The crew grows uneasy. They whisper of strange sightings, ghostly lights beneath the hull, whispers that echo through the cabins, voices calling their names in the night. Some beg the captain to turn back. He laughs, fearless, furious. He tells them the sea belongs to him, and he will not kneel before superstition. He orders them onward, deeper into waters no map dares mark. The wind changes. The sky blackens. The storm arrives not as weather, but as judgment. Waves rise like mountains, striking the ship from all sides. Thunder cracks overhead, tearing the heavens open. Rain lashes the deck, blinding, relentless. The men scramble, shouting prayers, cursing, clinging to ropes that snap like twigs. Blackbeard stands unmoved, laughing into the wind, his eyes wild with defiance. Lightning strikes the mast, splitting it in two. Fire bursts across the deck, mingling with rain and smoke. The ship groans, a living thing breaking apart. And then in the chaos a single cry rises, a scream that cuts through thunder and flame. The sea opens. A wall of water towers above the deck, shimmering with blue light. Within it for a moment you see faces, not human, not kind. They reach not to save but to claim. Blackbeard's laughter falters. His eyes widen. He steps back, whispering the same words he once mocked. The sea takes what's hers. The wave crashes. Darkness swallows everything. When the light returns, the ship is silent once more. The sea is calm, too calm. The sun shines upon debris floating gently across the water. Barrels, ropes, broken timbers. No voices. No sails, no ship. Only the endless calm of aftermath. But the story does not end there. The Queen Anne's Revenge refuses to die. Her timbers, soaked in greed and fire, will not sink. They rise again beneath the moonlight, piecing themselves together, drawn by the will of their captain. The ocean obeys the curse he forged with his arrogance. The ship returns, not alive, not dead, but bound. And so does he. You blink and the vision fades. The storm returns, darker than before. The ship around you groans, each plank sighing under invisible weight. The crew still works, chained by the same greed that once drove them. And Blackbeard stands at the helm, his eyes two burning coals. He sees you now. His gaze meets yours, and for an instant the world holds its breath. He speaks, voice deep as the ocean floor. You seek rest, traveler. You will not find it here. You do not answer. His expression softens, the fierceness fading to something almost human. Sorrow, perhaps. Regret. I took what was not mine, he says. The sea does not forgive. It remembers. It binds. He turns his eyes back to the horizon. Lightning flashes once more, and you see the faint shimmer of tears in his spectral face. He grips the wheel tighter, whispering a single phrase that repeats with each roll of thunder. Set her right. Set her right. The wind begins to calm. The clouds thin. The rain softens to mist. The crew stops their endless toil. Frozen mid-motion. One by one they turn toward their captain. The stormlight fades from their eyes. The chains around their wrists crumble into dust. The sea itself seems to pause, listening. Blackbeard lifts his face to the sky, lips moving in a silent plea. And then, for the first time in centuries, he lets go of the wheel. The silence that follows is absolute. The ship ceases to creak. The thunder stops. Even the rain hangs motionless in the air for a breathless moment. Then a beam of light breaks through the clouds. a shaft of golden dawn falling directly upon the deck. The light touches the captain's coat, his hands, his face. Slowly the darkness seeps out of him, replaced by calm. The crew watches motionless as their captain fades into the light. One by one they follow, their forms dissolving like smoke carried away by the wind. When the light fades, the ship is empty. The chains are gone, the flag has vanished. The sails hang still, clean white new. The sea is gentle again. Only the echo of a sigh remains. A sound so soft it might be the sea exhaling after a long, long dream. You stand alone on the deck. The air is warm now, the scent of storm replaced by calm salt and morning light. The Queen Anne's Revenge drifts quietly across glass-smooth water. Her hull gleams faintly, not with fire but with forgiveness. You walk toward the bow, watching the sunlight break across the horizon. The sky blushes with dawn, soft pink and gold. The ship moves forward slower, lighter. The curse has lifted, yet she sails on. Not toward conquest, but toward peace. The waves cradle her gently, carrying her farther and farther from the world of men. Her story lingers in the air, a warning, a memory, a lullaby. You close your eyes. The river becomes a dream. You are on board again, but this time there is no fear, no fire, only light. The deck glows with golden warmth. The passengers laugh and dance under starlight. The water sparkles with tiny reflections, each one a memory of something beautiful. Music rises once more. The banjo, the laughter, the steady heartbeat of the paddle wheel turning. The captain's voice drifts through the air, gentle as the breeze. Safe voyage, friends. Safe voyage home. The scene fades slowly, melting back into the rhythm of the river. The water's sound becomes the pulse of sleep itself. Slow, steady, eternal. The mist settles around you like a blanket. The flames of the Eliza battle burn softly in your mind's eye, not as destruction now, but as light, a lantern left behind to guide travelers through the dark. The night deepens. The river hums. You lie back on the bank, the ground cool and damp beneath you. Above, the clouds drift apart, revealing a single bright star. Its reflection trembles in the water where the ghost ship once glided. The breeze carries the faintest trace of song, the last note of a melody unfinished. You breathe in, and the world exhales with you. The fire, the river, the voices all merge into one gentle current. The story folds itself into quiet. Sleep comes like the tide. Slow, unstoppable, kind, somewhere far away, the Eliza battle glows again, drifting peacefully along the endless black water, her flames now calm, her passengers free. The river carries her not toward tragedy, but toward rest, into a horizon made of light and silence. The water laps softly at the shore, repeating its lullaby. Rest now, all is calm. All is remembered, and the river flows on forever. The sea is restless tonight. It breathes in long, heaving sighs, its surface dark as ink, its waves whispering to one another like conspirators beneath the storm. The horizon glows faintly with lightning, each flash revealing the trembling edge of the world. A glimpse of something vast, ancient, alive. The wind is rising now, tugging at the rigging of distant ships, bending the clouds into shifting shapes that seem almost human. And then, through the mist and rain, something moves. A shadow first, tall, slow, deliberate, then a light. Faint at first, the smallest flicker on the horizon, but unmistakable. It glows with an otherworldly hue, not gold or white, but something in between, a color of memory, of lost hope, of sorrow turned into silence. The sea calms for a breath as if recognizing it. Sailors whisper its name, half in fear, half in awe. The Flying Dutchman, the ship that never reaches shore, the ghostly wanderer of the ocean, condemned to sail forever through storm and night, her crew made of wind and whispers, her captain bound by a curse older than the sea itself. You stand at the edge of the deck, watching. The rain clings to your coat, the cold biting at your skin, but you cannot look away. The light on the horizon pulses slowly, moving closer with each swell of the tide. It does not drift. It glides, deliberate and graceful, defying the storm that bends every other ship to its will. The lightning flashes again, and for an instant, the shape of the vessel is clear. She is enormous, her masts black against the glow, her sails tattered yet full, her hull slick with mist. The air around her hums faintly, vibrating with energy you can feel in your bones. There is no sound of waves against her sides, no creak of timber or shout of crew. She moves as though carried by something unseen, something beyond wind or water. The Flying Dutchman, a name carried by fear across centuries, a warning whispered among sailors before setting sail. They said her captain defied heaven itself. They said he swore he would round the Cape of Good Hope even if it took him until the end of time. And so time took him at his word. The storm builds. Thunder rolls like drums across the sea. Rain falls harder, slanting sideways, striking your face like 1,000 tiny needles. But through it all, the light grows brighter, closer, until it seems almost to touch your ship. You blink and suddenly, she is there, the Dutchman towering beside you. Her hull a shadow within shadows, her lanterns glowing faintly blue. You can see figures on her deck now, moving slowly like reflections in rippling glass. They do not shout or gesture. They simply exist, each one outlined in pale light. The captain stands at the bow, his coat whipping in the wind, his hair long and silver like the crest of a wave. His eyes, even from a distance, are steady, calm, sad, and endless. He does not look at you but through you, as though seeing the ocean behind your soul. Then without warning, your ship lurches. The compass spins. The world tilts sideways. The wind roars with a voice that sounds almost human. A cry, a plea, a song. You grip the railing, closing your eyes against the spray, and when you open them again, the sea is gone. The storm has vanished. You stand now upon a calm expanse of water so still it mirrors the sky perfectly. The Flying Dutchman floats before you, her reflection undisturbed. There is no horizon, only light and sea blending into infinity. The air smells faintly of salt and smoke and something else. Something older, like parchment and dust and forgotten prayers. A voice breaks the silence. Deep, resonant, weary. You see us. You turn. The captain stands beside you now. His boots make no sound on the deck. His presence feels both near and distant, as if he is speaking from the far side of a dream. You hear the call of the wandering light, he says. His gaze drifts toward the sea. Once it meant doom. Once men fled at the sight of us. But the sea forgets, and so do men. Now only those who listen still see. His hand brushes the rail. The wood ripples faintly beneath his touch, as though the ship itself remembers being real. We sought passage, he murmurs. We sought glory. The storm took both. Lightning flashes again, not from the sky, but from within the water itself. Images appear there, moving like reflections in a dream. You see men hauling ropes, shouting against the wind. Waves crash over the deck. A captain stands at the wheel, rain streaming down his face. He shouts a single word, "Onward!" and the storm answers with thunder. The scene dissolves. The captain lowers his head. We would not turn back, he says softly. We could not. His eyes lift toward you again, and you realize they glow faintly. Not with fire, but with light caught from the sea. Now we sail until time itself forgets our name. The wind rises again, but this time it carries no storm. It is gentle, warm, filled with voices, laughter, whispers, songs. You look up and see them. The crew of the Dutchman gathering along the deck, each one illuminated by the faint glow of the ship's lanterns. They smile faintly as they pass, but their eyes are distant. Some carry ropes, others mend sails that will never tear again. None speak. They move like echoes, fulfilling the rhythm of an old habit that once gave their lives meaning. The captain steps closer to the helm. Every 7 years, he says, we may glimpse the living world again. Every 7 years the horizon opens and we remember what it was to hope. But the light fades and we return. His voice softens. The sea keeps her promises, even the cursed ones. You want to ask him what he seeks, what he hopes to find, but the words never leave your mouth. He already knows. Peace, he says quietly. But peace is not for those who made vows to the storm. The Dutchman shimmers. The air trembles with faint vibrations like the echo of a bell struck long ago. The sea below begins to move again, slow waves spreading outward from the ship's hull. Lightning flashes once more, and in that moment you see the Dutchman as she once was in bright sails, laughter on her decks, the captain's eyes fierce and alive. The vision fades, leaving only her ghostly twin behind. Will you tell them? The captain asks. You blink. Tell who? He looks at you then, truly looks, and his gaze feels like standing beneath the weight of the ocean. The ones who still listen. Tell them we sail not to bring doom, but to remind. The sea gives, the sea takes, and sometimes it remembers. A sudden wind sweeps across the water. The horizon returns, a distant reel shimmering with dawn. The Dutchman's light begins to fade, dissolving into mist. Her crew turns one last time toward their captain, who raises his hand in silent command. The ship pivots slowly, gracefully, as though answering an unseen current. You watch as she moves away, her outline growing fainter, her light dimming until it becomes a single spark in the distance. The storm returns, but it is softer now. A lullaby of thunder far away, the gentle hum of rain on calm water. You close your eyes. The wind carries a whisper, rest, sailor. The sea forgets no one. When you open them again, you are alone. Your own ship drifts peacefully on the calm sea, the storm breaking apart into streaks of light. The horizon glows with the first breath of dawn. You lean on the railing, watching as the sun rises over the water, scattering gold across the waves. The light feels warm again, real again. But beneath it all, faint and eternal, another glow lingers, soft, distant, moving slowly toward the edge of the world. The Flying Dutchman sails on. You imagine her captain at the helm, his hands steady, his eyes fixed on the endless horizon. You imagine his crew, quiet and content, the sea around them calm for once. Perhaps somewhere beyond the reach of storms they find their harbor, not a place of land but of stillness, where even cursed souls can finally rest. The waves lap gently against the hull. The air smells of salt and rain. The sun climbs higher, washing away the last traces of night. You breathe deeply, feeling the rhythm of the sea beneath you, steady, patient, eternal.